Baik, sepertinya waktu sudah menunjukkan pukul 11, agak lewat 3 menit di Indonesia bagian Barat. Dan untuk itu saya mau memulai proses kita pada pagi hari ini. Para peserta sudah semakin banyak yang berkumpul dan bergabung dengan kita hari ini. Dan yang paling pasti hari ini kita akan mendengarkan banyak sekali success story dari COE, dari berbagai yang sudah terlebih dahulu menyelenggarakan Cup of Excellence. Indonesia untuk pertama kalinya mengadakan Cup of Excellence Indonesia 2021. Dan untuk itu saya mau mempersilakan hari ini perwakilan dari SCAI untuk menyapa dan membuka acara pada pagi hari ini. Dan untuk itu saya persilakan untuk bersama dengan kita membuka sekaligus menyapa para narasumber dan juga memulai acara hari ini. Saya panggilkan Bapak Michael Utama, perwakilan dari SCAI. Bapak Michael, silakan.
Thank you, Greg. Selamat datang, selamat pagi semua. Pertama-tama saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada teman-teman kami, Ibu Ina Nurmalia Kurniati dari tenaga ahli media kantor staf presiden, dan kepada teman-teman kita moderator Adi dan translator dari OC kita juga Andi Wijaya, dan and thank you to all the speakers from Ethiopia. Tamiru Tadase, Mr. Tesfaye, Mr. Elias, and Mr. Isaac, and also from Guatemala, Diego. And also thank you, Erin, for joining us, and also Josu from Taiwan. So through this short speech, I hope this webinar will inspire all the participants and gain knowledge about the COE, from the story, the success story from all the COE winners, and I hope you guys will gain knowledge, get a story, and hope can be inspired to all of you guys. I think I will won't talk that long. I will give it to all the committee. That's it from me.
Thank you, Mike.
Baik, terima kasih, Pak Michael.
Ya, silakan dimulai.
Siap, terima kasih. Dengan ini acara sudah dimulai. Terima kasih untuk kehadiran semuanya. Terima kasih juga Pak Michael untuk pembukaannya. Dan sekarang langsung saja kita akan mulai acara kita pada pagi hari ini. Dan tentunya bukan saya yang akan membawakan dan menemani teman-teman. Saya akan menemani teman-teman. Maka untuk itu, apapun yang ingin teman-teman tanyakan, silakan ketikan terlebih dahulu di chat room, sehingga nanti kami dapat menampung, kami akan seleksi, lalu kemudian nanti kami akan berikan kepada moderator kita untuk disampaikan. Moderator nanti akan menentukan apakah pertanyaannya akan moderator bacakan dan sampaikan narasumber untuk dijawab, atau nantinya pertanyaan tersebut akan dipilih oleh moderator untuk disampaikan langsung oleh Bapak Ibu saudara-saudari sekalian yang ada di ruangan ini. Dan untuk itu, ketika nanti sudah dipilih oleh moderator, silakan nanti Bapak Ibu untuk menyalakan kamera atau videonya supaya kami boleh memanggil Bapak Ibu ke ruangan ini atau ke tampilan di layar ini. Ya, oke. Saya tidak mau berlama-lama. Saya langsung saja panggilkan Bapak Adi W Taroepratjeka. Sebenarnya ini udah bukan orang asing pastinya di dunia perkopian, dan hari ini beliau akan menjadi moderator kita di ruangan kita. Untuk itu, yuk kita sambut dan langsung saja kita persilakan Mas Adi untuk langsung memoderatori kegiatan hari ini. Selamat pagi Mas Adi.
Pagi Rio. Thank you very much for the introduction. Well, let's have this show begin. First of all, I would like to greet the people who were from abroad. Good evening to Erin. Good evening to Diego. Good morning to Tamiru, Tade, Asefa, and Mr. Yuzak. These are the people who are behind this. So Erin is definitely the lady who's making sure that everything works well, and we have the opportunity to talk to some of the people who already gone through the COE process, and actually they're the winners. So I was hoping that today we can speak a little bit from them, ask them a couple of questions, and hopefully it can make us, it will make us to make our quality better, and you know, you might be a COE winner. So first of all, I think I would like to ask Miss Erin to tell a little bit about yourself and about the COE. The screen is all yours, Miss Erin.
Hi, Adi. Thank you. Should I start to present now, or am I just introducing myself?
Well, we can do both.
Sorry, I just want to check if I should start. Yes?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Well, I'll do my introduction first. Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Wang. I'm the Managing Director of Cup of Excellence, and I'm here in Portland, Oregon, USA. And I have a presentation for you today. If I'm able to share my screen.
Okay, Farius, do you mind letting Erin sharing her screen?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm making it complicated.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can share now.
Okay, great. Do you see that?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Very good.
All right, well, thanks everyone for joining this meeting. I wish I was in Indonesia with you guys to meet you in person, but we're in the pandemic, so here we are doing this. Today, I wanted to talk about the Cup of Excellence background and impact, and I wanted to show you the process of Cup of Excellence through photos, the competition and the auction and everything. So let's get started. So we'll start with the background and impact. And here, if you can see, Cup of Excellence started in 1999 in Brazil. We've been around for 22 years. If you look at the timeline here, we've actually started in 15 countries. And this year we are in 2021, and we are in 12 countries, including 2 new countries, which are Indonesia and Ecuador. Today, we're a nonprofit organization with the mission of discovering and rewarding exceptional quality coffee farmers. We do that through the competition process, which allows us to transparently discover quality. And we do that through the auction process, which allows us to award and motivate farmers. So the competition process is critical for the quality discovery that we do. First, as you guys hopefully know, the Cup of Excellence competition in all countries is free and open to all farmers in that country. So you can be a farmer in the middle of nowhere and enter, you know, I think it was like 3 kilos in Indonesia and have a chance to win the entire competition. And we have strict protocols that allow us to find the best of the best. So when your coffee enters the competition, it is coded from a third-party independent auditor who uses a code to actually just change all of the information about the coffee, goes to a code, and all of the cuppers actually evaluate the coffee based on a code. So it's blind, they don't know what region, variety, process, anything, and it allows for level playing field for all farmers. It allows for transparency. This process allows for transparency from farmer to buyer. Farmers gain access to international specialty buyers. And we finally have average scores. So we don't actually use one superstar cupper to cup these coffees and tell you this is the best. We don't use one buyer to tell you this is a really great coffee. We have a panel of national Indonesian judges chosen for their qualifications of cupping that will evaluate these coffees and pass it based on quality to the international judges who are also buyers. And those international judges will taste those coffees and pass that to the auction. So a lot of people taste those coffees before it actually goes to the auction. Next, we have the auction process, which allows us to reward those farmers who do so well in the competition. Basically, we're able to give platforms to the farmers who might not have this access before, and they can become superstar farmers. We've seen that happen with many farmers over the years, maybe repeat winners. You know, they just become people that buyers want to connect with. And we give farmers, whether they win once or many times, a platform and an opportunity to tell their story, share their photos, and make their connections. So when we prepare for the auction, the lots are prepared to zero defect, they're non-blended, and basically they are prepared to the highest standard in order to be exported to the highest paying bidder who is looking for the best coffee in any one of these countries that we work in. Just like that, our we give farmers an opportunity, all of them, to enter the competition. We give all buyers an opportunity to enter the competition, and that allows for the farmers to connect with buyers in countries maybe that they've never had access to before. Maybe you've never had a buyer in Bulgaria or Dubai or in Taiwan, and you want to actually access those markets. This gives farmers the opportunity to do that. And finally, again, just as it's really important for the farmers to have direct access and transparency to the buyer, it is equally important for the buyers to have direct access to the farmers. And so we're the bridge that brings farmers and buyers together. So here we kind of just have COE by numbers until now. Over the 22 years, we have over 4,500 lots sold. We've done 165 competitions, $73 million raised for farmers. The top price that we have sold a COE coffee at was in Costa Rica, 2018, at $300 per pound. And this year in 2021, our average price is $24.25 per pound. So we did a study in 2015 looking at Brazil COE and the 15 years between 1999 and 2014. So TechnoServe looked at, did a lot of interviews, researched a lot of things, and the end result that they found was in those 15 years, about $2 million was paid for the actual program itself of Cup of Excellence. But in those $2 million invested for the program, there was about $5 million in auction revenues, premiums that were paid. There was an increase of $16 million in direct trade, and there was an increase of $116 million in specialty trade. So what that's basically saying is that Cup of Excellence, even though there is an impact with the auction and the farmers, there is a wider, like a spillover effect of added value that the Cup of Excellence program can add to a country as we work in that country over time. So this study ultimately said about over $100 million was in added value in the 15 years that we worked in Brazil. So here's just an example of average price per pound. In 2020, our COE average price was over $20. When you look at the specialty coffee market and just specialty coffees that are being sold, like a Panama Geisha or a Yemen, maybe they're on average being sold for $17, $16 per pound. Maybe a specialty African coffee is being sold for about $5 per pound. And maybe a specialty micro lot is being sold about under $5 a pound, about $4 a pound. So this just compares our average prices with other average prices you might find outside of our auctions. So really the Cup of Excellence is just the Olympics for coffee. We just went through some of the Olympics in Japan, and really a lot of people compare us to the Olympics of coffee. Here you see a photo of farmers preparing their natural lot in Ethiopia. And then here, this is actually a photo of a Honduran winner, Fabio Caballero. And, you know, it gives, for the winning producers, it gives them recognition, reputation, and a platform to access these markets. So now, you know, there's a lot of talking about the process, but I just wanted to show you the process in photos. So really quickly, I'm just going to go through some photos before and after the pandemic. You can kind of just see the process. So the process of the competition starts with national jury testing. You can see here, this is actually Adi's lab, and we did the national jury test there in Indonesia. And then during the test, we analyze the results and we choose the best cuppers to evaluate the coffees during the competition. So there's a national open call for entries. You can see here, here's an example of coffees that are collected and coded. We do not know whose coffees these are. They are coded, and that's all we see when we work through roasting. We have qualified roasters in each country that actually roast these coffees. Here we have some ladies in Honduras that roast, and some of our roasters in Ethiopia. We have qualified support staff who organize the sessions, weigh the coffees, grind the coffees, prepare the tables. And here we just have an example of the work they do. Here we have some of the tables that we have set. We have changed the way that we cup coffee and gather for the pandemic. So we are staying safe, but we are still gathering in order to complete these competitions, because we really believe in these missions and we know farmers really need this competition. Here's the pre-selection process. Here's just like a video from Burundi 2019, the national pre-selection stage. And basically it's just kind of a quick video to show all of the process of cupping. You know, a normal session takes 45 minutes or an hour. And here are some photos from some cuppers in 2020 that did the pre-selection process. So then there's always data entry and results. We always have a third-party auditor that is there to code and decode the data so that all the results we have are professionally done, so nobody knows what's actually happening except for them. And here we just have an example of that and the posting of the results. And then after pre-selection, the lots are centralized in a single warehouse. You can see here in Mexico, the coffee is labeled with the Cup of Excellence logo, and those are the coffees that will eventually go to auction. And again, during the national stage, the process starts again. Coffee is roasted, prepared, and cupped, and then those all go pass on to the international jury. Now, this is a traditional international jury, which we are not able to do right now. Typically, international judges from all over the world would go to countries like Indonesia to cup these coffees in 1 week. We cannot do that during the pandemic. So we've changed to a remote international jury process called the Global Coffee Centers. These are all the companies that we actually send coffee to evaluate the coffees to pass to the auction. And here's an example of what happens during that process. Coffee is roasted, vacuum packed, coded, packaged, and sent to these remote juries around the world, and they cup them in their labs. So typically we have an award ceremony where we all gather to announce the winners of the competition. Of course, now we are doing those virtually, just like this meeting, but typically we get together and just celebrate and enjoy and just really rejoice in the hard work that the farmers have done, and the farm workers have that moment of recognition. After that recognition, all of those winning coffees get packaged and sent to buyers all over the world. The coffees are processed and vacuum packed and boxed, ready for the auction. And then the auction happens, and that's when you can really see that the farmers are waiting and watching the auction, and the buyers are there, bidding and just wanting to pay the highest price for these excellent quality coffees. And so that's basically the process and photos. I know it might be difficult with different languages to explain everything, but hopefully those photos kind of helped you understand the process. And that's all. If you guys need to contact me for anything, here's my contact information. But thank you guys for your time, and I'm looking forward to hearing from the farmers.
Thank you, Erin. Awesome presentations. Some people mentioned to me that my voice is not that clear. Is it okay now, or still like cracking up a bit?
Yes, hear you clearly now, more clearly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Erin. Besides Erin, we also have several COE winners. We have people from Ethiopia, and we have some people from Guatemala. An information for most of you, well, most of you probably don't realize that Ethiopia just had their first COE this year. For me, Ethiopia is doing it at like the wrong time because they prepare everything and suddenly the pandemic comes and you guys have to change everything. The way the judging, the logistics and everything. So with us, we have Mr. Tamiru Tadese, we have Mr. Fish Tesfaye, we have Mr. Elias, and we have Mr. Isaac. Gentlemen, good morning. I would like to ask you simple questions. Last year was the first COE that your country ever had. So my question is, what makes you decide that you want to join in, and what does your expectation before joining in, and what happened after you won? Is your dream coming true? Is it really what you expected, or is it something else? Probably we could start with Mr. Tamiru.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for opportunity. My name is Tamiru Tadese, and I'm from Ethiopia and the winner of Cup of Excellence this year. When I won 2 presidential award, president, first one, both of my coffee scored 90 plus. So let me go to this question. My motivation was, when Cup of Excellence first year happened here in Ethiopia, the news was viral. It went viral all over Ethiopia. So, and winner was also around my area, and he's a close friend of mine. I took motivation from him, it's near to me. So I went to my area and I prepared coffee, submitted my coffee to competition. So that was my motivation. And before submitting my samples, we cupped coffee. I am cupper too. So I cupped with my friend, 4 or 5% cup, and they give me positive comment. And all score were plus 90. That was given by my friends. So I was expecting my coffee to be at least among the top 10 coffee from this year's competition. That was my expectation. And finally, when they announced the winners, it's like, dream comes true. Really, it was amazing time, and I was very happy. It is not only for me, for farmers who are working with me, they were happy, and it's amazing for us. It's only not one coffee. Both of our coffee won presidential award. It was amazing for us.
You're on mute, Adi.
Sorry, Mas Adi, I turned off.
Sorry, yes, I know. I have 2 laptops and I'm sort of confused on which buttons I should push. So my apology for that. So Mr. Tesfaye, Mr. Tamiru, thank you so much. I know it's awesome. It must be really rewarding to become a COE #1, the winner of COE from Ethiopia. But I want to ask Mr. Fish, Mr. Tesfaye, which, by the way, I love your suits. I never been to Ethiopia, and most of the people from my country never been to Ethiopia and basically have no clue how Ethiopia looks like or how the coffee farmers are in Ethiopia. I want to ask you two questions. Are farmers in Ethiopia are having big land, or are they having a small lot? And how do you organize people in your area or get coffee for this competition from your area?
I think the question is for Mr. Tesfaye, right?
Hold on. The question is going to be, well, you can, yes, that's for Mr. Tesfaye. That's for you.
I'm sorry, I don't think Mr. Tesfaye is able to hear us. I'm not sure what the technical problem is. I'm just helping our people from Ethiopia.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Well, then I'm going to switch it off to Mr. Yisa. Can you help me out here? You trade coffee, right, in Ethiopia? So how does the coffee industry in Ethiopia works? How big the farm are, and how do they sell it from co-op, or how does it work there?
Good morning. I'm gonna let my colleague answer that question. He's gonna do the introduction. His name is Fish. If you want to take over.
All right, let me try to answer the question. My name is Fisai, or you can call me Fish. I'm with Testy. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having us and for allowing us to share our Cup of Excellence experience in this platform. Well, when I try to answer your question, of course, there are different way of, market approach in Ethiopia. For example, there are private farmers, there are cooperatives which are organized under different kind of unions, and there are also exporters, coffee exporters. They rely on smallholder farmers. For example, a certain company could have a coffee export company, a certain person can have a coffee export company, and they can organize different farmers in their, for example, if we take Sidamo or Sidama, they organize small farmers. It could be like 700 or 800 or 1,000 and above under their washing station. They could be officially registered and certified. And with that, the farmers can bring their coffee or their product every year to the washing station. In this regard, every farmer or every family owns between 2 and 3 hectares of farm. So the production is, of course, you can expect is very small to get the yield from 2 up to 3 hectares. So the accumulation of all the coffee from 700 up to 1,000 farmers can make a difference when they bring to the washing station. So with that, the exporting company or the owner of the washing station can directly export the coffee on behalf of the farmers to the world market. And sometimes also instead of the market, logistic-wise or operation-wise, it's difficult for farmers also to send or to submit their coffee for competition, like in Cup of Excellence. So on behalf of them, the company can represent the farmers and can send their coffee, the very selected or the very good quality coffee for competition. So always, not all farmers owners 2 up to 3 hectares can export their coffee or can submit their coffee for competition. They just use other chains like export trading companies which are based locally in Ethiopia.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Fish. When we look at COE process, do you mind sharing how much, what is the minimum lot that the Ethiopian COE organizers ask for, and whether it's difficult or not for most farmers in Ethiopia to gather that much to send them to the COE organizers?
I didn't see any difficulties in the limitation of the size of the lot.
So no problem in getting the samples. Awesome.
Yeah, there is no problem. Yeah.
How big is the lot? 250 kilos, 500 kilos, the minimum lot.
Yeah, for example, in our case, we presented the maximum size up to maximum 500 kilogram. Otherwise, most of the coffees are less than 500 kilogram. In order to be more meticulous and to, to get the right quality that really deserves to go for competition. Well, to be in competition, you have to have the better quality coffee, the most improved high-grade quality coffee. So instead of, if you try, of course, you can prepare a lot of kind of coffee with different lots, but you can pick or you can select the right quality with a quality that meets the standard for the competition.
Thank you, Mr. Fish. That's a really well. I hope your answers give more support to the farmers in Indonesia for their coffee. Some of them already sent the samples. Some of them still on the way. Just a little information that COE Indonesia is now like in the stage of collecting the samples. I have to check with Andy whether they're still taking samples or not. But as far as I know, the samples we got is not as big as Ethiopia, but for the first one, it's pretty awesome. Thank you, Mr. Fish. My next question is for Mr. Elias. I'm surprised when I hear about the amount of samples being sent to COE. As far as you know, what makes Ethiopian farmer is so excited to send samples for the COE? I mean, the number are enormous. What make you guys so excited they want to send samples? Mr. Elias? Sorry, sir, you're muted.
Sorry, now I'm coming. Did you hear me, everyone?
Okay. No. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. My name is Elias Bukamo. I'm the trader and operation manager, quality controller in all like Asafa Bukamo company. Already Asafa Bukamo is under dari Coffee, but we participate like for the second time on Cup of Excellence. When we participate in the first time in 2020, like we didn't know about Cup of Excellence. Nothing. Already one guys from government, I don't know, from government or from like NGO USAID, I don't know. But he comes and I was in the farm, I'm like working on processing. Then he tell us like, when you participate on Cup of Excellence, when you win, like you sell your coffee in Ethiopian per kg, like 28,000. 28,000 means like almost $500 per $500 or $400 per kg. He tell us like to motivate us. Then I didn't anything to process. I didn't know. Like I do only I submit my sample to the Cup of Excellence warehouse. I only do that, but after like I'm already motivated this year, like in 2021, motivated because I see the already I see the what the impact on the farmers and on the Ethiopian coffees, on our companies. It's like many impact. Already the CEO winner 2020 is I know them already. We work with them. I saw his farms. I saw his processing, everything I saw. Almost almost like top 20, top 10 is almost in our area. Some other lot only gets like other coffee, but all are near to Bensa area. And I know Tamru is already our friend. Now this year the winner. But in 2020, I'm motivated by. In 2020, I'm motivated by like Nuguse Gameda. Nuguse Gameda is already his family. The other Dromodamo, everyone is already, we know them already. You know, in Sidama is almost like a small area, but many people like together, live together, and we know each other. We know. Then in 2021, everyone is motivated. Like in Sidama, everyone is like to get, because they know like the impact. Nuguse Gamera is, he changed his life. Like he changed everything. Like he buy new car, he buy stations, coffee, other stations, he buy like working car, and like his life is like dynamically changes. That's why every people to get like 2021 to get the sample, everyone is very like excited. That's why we are in 2021. In 2020, we are number 7. We like number 7, and we are happy. We do like great things. Then this year, in number 8, and our lot is only the watched one is our coffee. That is the big things for us, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elias. It's a great story. It's for me, it's empowering. It shows that if people want to do something great, they'll be able to achieve it. Something I learned from COE many years ago is, in many competitions, people only talk about the like number 1, 2, and 3 winners. But something exciting for me in COE is even coffee that is ranked to like number 20 or 24, they can still have a great quality and also great price. A couple of years ago, I tried to bid on one of the coffee. It's ranked 24, thinking that price is not going to be that high, until at one point we are fighting with some people from Taiwan and Korea because we are fighting for that coffee, and at one point I couldn't buy the coffee anymore. So I want to ask Mr. Yitzhak from Tasty Trading. Mr. Yitzhak, coffee is coffee number 20 in 2021. Number 20, I think Mr. Yitzhak can back me up by saying that becoming number 20 does not mean the quality of the coffee is bad. It actually can become one of the sought after coffee besides the number 1 and 2 and 3. Mr. Yesat, can you tell us a little story about your coffee, and does number 20 means that nobody want to buy your coffee, or actually some people really want to buy your coffee at a really good price?
All right, my colleague is going to be answering the questions for Testi PLC, Mr. Fish, or Fasad here. I'm going to go let him speak.
Yeah, let me take the this question as well. Of course, like you said, one thing that I would like to mention, for many years I have heard from different people like a Cup of Excellence is a competition like the Oscars of the coffee world. Well, who doesn't like, or who wouldn't like to win Oscars or to be nominated in Oscars? Of course, if you win, okay, it's something. Even if you are nominated, it's something. Both are, it makes sense. So likewise with us, it's not, if you are in the such kind of high standard competition, it is not necessarily meant to win first, second, or third. Even if you make it 20s or 30s, this is something. This which means to be 30 minutes is among 1,500 different kind of coffee. Well, still you are in the higher class. So we believe that we don't believe on ranks, but we believe on the quality. We know that our coffee is a great quality coffee. So to be 20s minutes, still we are in the Oscars, we have no problem. We like it because at the end of the day, we're able to solve, even in 2020, even this year, we're able to solve our coffees. We third, let me see in both those two competitions held so far, we stood third in price by selling our coffees USD 66 and 60 per pound, and USD 90.70 per pound in 2020 and 2021 competitions respectively. And we did great job in both, and we gave such kind of results in both competition years. So we were third in price. Also, last year we were like 12s. This year we were 20s. But at the end of the day, we were able to maintain the higher price. We're able to climb to the third rank in price. So as long as you have good quality, it can impress or attract buyers also to go after your coffee.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Thank you, Mr. Fish. Well, besides 4 gentlemen from Ethiopia, we also have a great guy from Guatemala. When I'm reading his bio, I have to admit that he's something else. Why is he something else? Because this gentleman have won COE 22 times, 22. So it's a lot of hard work. I mean, winning the first time is not easy, but able to win multiple times, I think, is a lot more difficult. So I would like to welcome Mr. Diego De La Serda from Guatemala. Good evening, sir. I know it's late night down there, or that side. Mr. Diego, one thing that puzzles me is like, how can you keep winning? I mean, everyone wants to win COE. Everyone must be giving their best when they're submitting samples, but you're able to win this much. What is your recipe? What is your secret?
Okay, look, the first time that I decided to participate was because I look in the news that the auction is coming, the COE. So I was just beginning in the coffee production, So when I saw the prices that the other farms have that year, I said, okay, this looks very interesting. Let's try. So we decided to participate the first time. And the idea was, okay, let's find one of the varieties that we have at the farm that is different of the common coffees. So I decided to participate with one maracaturra, wash maracaturra. And for us was, okay, let's use this just to measure how is our quality between the other coffee producers in the country. And for the surprise of us, the first time that we participated, we was number one. So wow, it's okay. We have something different. We have something very good. So there's just like a funny part of the histories. Another producer that was participating comes to my dad and say, you know, you win this year because you were lucky. And my dad said, okay, look, you think this is lucky or it's because we do a good job? So they said, okay, hold on, let's see next year. So the next year we decide to participate. But we have 3 different farms. So we say, okay, let's participate with 2 different farms. And the second year we were number 3 and number 4. So my dad go to this guy, say, you think it's still lucky or do you think we do the right job? And this guy said, okay, no, for sure you're making a good job. So at that time we decide, okay, we have something very special. Let's try to participate and keep taking care of the quality. So at the end of the years, we begin participating in 2007. And we have been participating from 11 years because 2 years we don't make it. Okay, so it's very difficult to keep in the top and keep winning. Doesn't matter the position that you are. So at that time we say, okay, we have the land, we have all the know-how, and at that time I say, okay, let's find different varieties and different things so we can offer to our clients different coffees produced in the same farm. So I think one of the strategies was find good varieties, try it, and then decide which one we are going to use to participate. Yeah. Another thing is, a lot of people tell me, why are you still participating? You don't have to prove anybody that you have a very good quality coffee. And say, okay, hold on. I keep doing this because for 4 reasons. The first one is, for me, it's a quality certification that I can share with my clients. Second one, look, it's a good way to look for new clients. The third one is try to enter to new markets. And the last one, still a good business. So that's the main reason that I still participate in, and I'm always focused in find the right coffee to participate and try to be always in and getting into the competition, doesn't matter the place. The other thing is, for me, the COE is the key to open a lot of new doors and get inside the new markets. I have a very good experience. Right now, I have some clients that buy me in the Cup of Excellence, I think was the second year, 2008, and they still buying me coffee. So we make a long-term relationships with a lot of clients. And I think that's the main idea and the main objective of this kind of programs like this Cup of Excellence. Connect good coffee producers with good clients and try to make this alliance between a roaster and a supplier. I have been doing this for 11 years, maybe more, and it's very difficult maintain the quality and maintain the farms on the top. And I think here in Guatemala, there's another farm that we are like very good at the competition. We are always, last year I was first place, he doesn't participate. This year they was first place, I was second. But we are always fighting for the first places.
I see. So another question, sir. When you have experience on submitting samples, what are you looking for in the quality side when you're deciding that, okay, I'm gonna submit from this farm, or I'm gonna submit this varietals for the COE?
Okay, look, what I do is I try to be in the wet mill or in the washing station most of the time that I can spend. So what I do is, first, I know already what varieties I have. Then I look the quality of the picking. I take care we have a very strict quality control during the whole process. And then I always take samples to the cupping lab. I work with the copper, and then when he gives me the scores, I go and I copy it with him, we discuss, and I decide what lot and what variety I'm gonna put in the competition. I know a lot of people right now are making a lot of different processes in the wet mills, but for me, I'm a really lover of the wash coffee, so I say no. For me, the wash coffees is in that cup. You can really find all the flavors and all the characteristics of a cup. I have tried with honeys, with naturals, but for me, the wash coffees is the ones that can really represent all the characteristics of a cup and of the variety.
So basically, you are relying more on the quality of the coffee and not the fancy processing that people did. But
no.
As far as you know, in your area, are there any other farmers who are doing those type of processing?
Yes, there's a lot of people trying and making some research and making some experiments with different kind of fermentations and adding yields and doing double fermentations and double wash and making a lot of different processes. But for me, I'm not doing that. But I know that there's a lot of people doing that.
I see. Thank you, sir. I hope your story can, well, sometimes people got satisfied too fast. They got satisfied too easily. I think your story, hopefully your story might be able to create other people like you here in Indonesia. They'll be fighting to be like the COE of Indonesia champion years and years and years and years to come. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I also see that we have our friend from Ethiopia, Mr. Desafaye, is back online. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. I want to ask you a simple question, since now we almost come for time for break, but I want to ask you one thing. How does enrolling or sending samples to COE change your business now? I mean, compare from 2 years ago to now. What is the big difference that COE have made to your business?
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. My name is, as you mentioned, Tasfaye Bakala, the owner of Tade Gigi. We have farms. We brought our sample from our farms. Our farms are mainly nature conservation focused. Coffee is, in fact, it is a source of our income, but it is our second priority concern comparing with the nature. That is just to introduce. Then I brought the sample to the Cup of Excellency through the announcement. The purpose I brought the sample, the first thing, I have a dream always to come into such competition, just to bring the coffee to the front, because everybody says Ethiopian coffee is very good, excellent, but how excellent? How good? Because we are not earning what we want, what we should have to deserve. We didn't get that price. So how these things are changed? So based on that, I heard from the news and some trainings as Cup of Excellency is working on this. Okay, that is good. So I brought the sample to the Cup of Excellency. And with that, we come third position. So maybe if I want to mention. Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you. No problem. No problem.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you, sir. No problem.
Okay. So with this, it helps us just in a promotion. Hello. Okay. This helps us to work on the promotion of not only our coffee, just to bring forward the Ethiopian coffee. In fact, everybody knows Ethiopian coffee is good, but it is one of the coffee which is not paid according to the quality. But in the Cup of Excellency, we see some changes, which helps us in promoting, in keeping, working hard in the quality aspects. Yeah.
I see. Thank you, sir. Well, it's 12 o'clock. Sudah jam 12 siang. From the schedule that Mr. Andi and Pak Rius sent me, I think we should have a 15-minute break. So, Pak Rius, it's all yours.
Okay, terima kasih Mas Adi. So thank you very much for all the parties, all the source persons who already give us a lot of inspirations and the story. I believe it will be a story of change for everyone in Indonesia, and I hope that you can inspire a lot of Indonesia farmers to join the COE Indonesia 2021. And Mr. Adi, thank you very much. We will continue with also you become a moderator in second session. Okay. Alright. Terima kasih untuk Bapak Ibu, saudara-saudari sekalian. Terima kasih juga untuk yang terus masih hadir dan masih juga bergabung bersama dengan kita semua di sini, baik di line Zoom maupun juga di YouTube. Ada beberapa pertanyaan di chat room dan juga ada lebih banyak salam-salam kenal di line YouTube dan juga di ruangan Zoom ini ya. Maka saya masih mau encourage dan mau memberikan kesempatan untuk Bapak Ibu, saudara-saudari sekalian yang mau bertanya, silakan untuk menggunakan chat room kita untuk bertanya, untuk menuliskan pertanyaan Anda, dan nantinya akan kami seleksi dan kami nanti akan berikan kepada moderator untuk nantinya disampaikan kepada para narasumber yang hari ini hadir. Dan untuk itu Bapak Ibu, saudara-saudari sekalian, kami akan memberikan waktu untuk Anda sekalian menuliskan sekaligus juga break sejenak apabila Anda sekalian mau ada kebutuhan untuk meninggalkan terlebih dahulu line di Zoom ini sejenak saja, apakah mau buat kopi dan sebagainya, kami persilakan. Tapi yang paling pasti kami akan memberikan beberapa informasi setelah ini untuk melanjutkannya lagi di termin yang kedua. Dan untuk rekan-rekan yang ada di YouTube, tetap bersama dengan kami, karena kami akan tetap melanjutkan dan line ini tidak diputus, sehingga tidak perlu keluar dari Zoom, maupun juga berhenti di YouTube-nya, karena kita hanya akan break beberapa saat ke depan. Bapak Andi Wijaya, saya mau mengundang Bapak Andi Wijaya ke ruangan ini bersama dengan saya untuk mungkin kita bisa memberikan beberapa informasi kepada rekan-rekan di sini sambil rekan-rekan para peserta istirahat sejenak. Untuk yang tidak membutuhkan istirahat, mungkin bisa mendengarkan beberapa informasi. Pak, sampai sejauh ini berapa peserta nih Pak sebenarnya sampai sejauh ini sudah bergabung bersama dengan COE?
Thank you for all the speakers that have joined from the COE, from the Ethiopian COE winner, and Mr. Diego from Guatemala. Thank you. Erin, thank you for joining this webinar session. Terima kasih juga buat semua peserta yang sudah hadir. Selamat beristirahat. Terima kasih Pak Greg sudah memberi kesempatan buat saya untuk bicara juga di sini. Hari ini sudah sampai 140 sampel yang diterima di gudang sampel kami di Bandung. Sebagian sudah kita sortir, juga sudah melalui proses administratif, dikirimkan surat tanda terimanya. Bagi yang belum, tinggal menunggu saja. Nanti semuanya pasti kebagian surat tanda terimanya. Kita sortir dulu dan lihat apakah kopi yang dikirimkan sudah memenuhi persyaratan yang kita sudah sampaikan di buku panduan keikutsertaan.
Baik, terima kasih. 140-an yang sudah bergabung bersama dengan COE Indonesia 2021, dan saya rasa masih akan ada beberapa rekan lainnya lagi yang akan bergabung karena kita memperpanjang ya, waktu pendaftaran. Apa nih Pak yang membuat kita kemarin sempat memperpanjang waktu pendaftaran sendiri?
Jadi sebenarnya kita ada sedikit kendala teknis di mana PPKM ini menutup juga pintu masuk bagi warga negara asing. Jadi dengan ditutupnya pintu masuk WNA, kita tidak bisa mendatangkan juri internasional, yang mana beliau adalah head judge kita. Dan tanpa kehadiran head judge, proses penilaian terhadap kopi-kopi ini di babak berikutnya tidak bisa dipertanggungjawabkan oleh COE. Dan untuk itu kita masih dalam proses terus berupaya mendatangkan beliau. Kita juga ya berusaha dan berdoa untuk bisa segera perbatasan atau pintu imigrasi untuk WNA dibuka dalam waktu dekat. Dari SCI juga sudah berupaya untuk mendatangi kementerian-kementerian terkait untuk bisa mendapatkan rekomendasi supaya bisa dipermudah prosesnya. Ya kita lihat dalam 1 minggu ini mungkin ya. Kita masih terima sampel nanti sampai tanggal 24 September karena secara jadwal kita penjurian praseleksi itu dimundurkan sampai tanggal 27 September. Begitu kurang lebih.
Ya, artinya kita tapi sebenarnya akhirnya menjadi memperpanjang waktu dan kesempatan untuk para peserta bergabung bersama dengan kita ya Pak. waktu break masih ada beberapa menit sebelum kita dengan source person kita. Jadi yang tadi sempat break dulu, silakan berkumpul lagi karena kita akan segera mulai juga dialog-dialog kita lanjutan lagi dengan beberapa narasumber lainnya yang hadir bersama dengan kita ya. Dan untuk itu mungkin kita boleh juga jeda sejenak Pak Adi, Pak Andi, dan kita akan lanjutkan lagi plus minus sekitar 3 sampai dengan 4 menit ke depan. Nah, untuk itu saya persilakan untuk Bapak Ibu saudara-saudara sekalian yang ada di Zoom, ruangan Zoom ini terutama yang butuh untuk break sejenak entah ke toilet, entah ke pantry untuk membuat kopi, silakan 3 sampai dengan 4 menit ke depan. Terima kasih untuk kehadirannya. Kita lanjut lagi di sesi atau termin yang kedua. Rekan-rekan yang ada di Zoom, silakan untuk tetap yang ada di Zoom tetap terkoneksi dan yang ada di YouTube tetap juga menyalakan YouTube-nya sampai kita kembali lagi.
Ship into the first destination, then I collect a few of other different coffee, then combine together, then shipping by pallet to Taiwan. So that's the background how I reach the high quality coffee and how I manage about that. And then come to Taiwan, that is a big problem because majority of the customer at that moment they don't understand what is the competition coffee. So I have to go back to the ACE and then to get the information and to understand how to promote this coffee. So we are very lucky because since very early stage, that ACE they provide all the information on the website. And like till now, you still can see the dictionary about the auction results from very early years till this year. So you can see all the winners' coffee, and you can see the producers, and you can see the price. So we call this is transparency. But almost 20 years ago, nobody used this term in Asia or in Taiwan. In our market, so we have to introduce what is the good coffee. So for me, it's easy to say, hey, listen, you can see this is not the information I provide to you. This is information provided by the platform and by the ACE and even from the organized country. For example, from Guatemala, this information and competition was organized by ANACOFE. And then this year in Indonesia should organized by SCI. So this is the rich and key information, and that was the reliable. The third party they can provide this for our customer. So this is really help because you cannot tell the customer this coffee costs you so high, so you have to pay higher, and because the quality is high. Yeah, they might be taste the coffee is good, but they're still wondering, why should I pay more? Because this could be asking them to pay 2 times, even 3 times to 4 times to compare to a regular, let's say, good coffee. So I think this is a long way for us to learn and to run in the business. After 1 or 2 decades, now majority of the customer they understood that the coffee like tea, they also have some competition, but it's come to another topic. We can talk about that in the coming future, because my personal opinion is now is a lot of the different competition platforms. So still, it's good, but we needed to just really consider about the customer side. So again, this is a very great question. We still are dealing and running with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
When I first hear about COE, it's something I don't understand. I mean, my biggest question is, why do these people want to buy really expensive coffee? But then I got a chance to try them out, met some people, and now I see that what COE is doing is not only trying to find the best, but also to guarantee the people who buy the coffee that they're going to get what they're paying. And I think Joe could vouch me for that, because you're not only judging, but you also buy the coffee.
Yes.
And if you've been buying it for how many years, Joe?
First time I buy the coffee, it's not directly by myself. I believe that was 2002. I share from the already, because the competition already finished. So I believe the first two coffee I was share from Wataru, Japan. And then after then we think we can buy for ourselves. And then that will be 2007 or 8. So, but to be honest, we share a buy direct buy from the COE. It's all start from the 2002 till now, every year.
Wow. Another
so
interesting point. Sorry.
Yeah. This year we even buy and share two champion from 4 countries.
Well, one interesting point that probably my friend here in Indonesia don't realize it is most of the time the winner lots are not being bought by one company, but sometimes it can be a group of companies. True, right?
Yep.
That way, these companies, they can buy multiple lots and they can offer the coffee from that country for their customers in a more wide range of offerings. Well, thank you so much, Joe. That's a good picture from the buyer's point of view, because earlier we had people from the producing area, from the people who got the coffee through COE and sell it to the international world. And now it's always great to have people from the other side telling their stories. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you, Eddie.
Now we have a couple of questions from our farmers here in Indonesia, or from people who join in. One of them probably is a question for Erin. I think this is a really good question because COE has been done like everywhere in the world, in Africa, in Southern America, Central America, and now we're doing it here in Asia. So Erin, one of the questions from our viewer is they're asking whether the standard for COE is the same for every country, or is there any small exemptions for some countries?
Yeah, thanks for that question. The heart and the foundation of the standard that we use for the rules of the competition and for the actual competition, the process is the same in every country. There are small things that we might adjust for because, as you can imagine, a country like Indonesia might be very different than a country like Guatemala. And so there are small things that we think are within reason, but it's still basically the same competition for sure in every country. That is something that is standard. Every farmer that enters the COE process goes through the exact same amount of scrutiny with the amount of national judges that taste it, the amount of times we taste it, and the international judges that taste it. And it would be mainly in the rules that we might change a few things that are specific to a country so we can allow for any differences, but nothing that would change the playing field, the game, basically.
I see. So basically the big picture is always going to be the same, but there's going to be some small things that you will adjust based on where the competition is being held, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Because at the end of the days, the buyers still want the best of the best of the best.
Exactly. And the buyers want they buy this coffee, as Joe just said, because it's the highest quality, and what they pay for is what they get. What they tasted in the sample sets is what they get. It's the highest quality, and all of the competition process and processing of coffee that we do remains the same in every country. All of the SCAI people know that from our many meetings and us talking about the standards that we need to follow. But yes, it's the same.
Thank you, Erin. The next question can be for you or for Joe. The question is there any guarantee when the coffee is being getting into the COE level winners, the COE winners level? Is there any guarantee for the coffee to be bought by international buyers, or there's no guarantee?
The coffees that go to the COE auction are guaranteed to sell. Is that the question?
That was the question, sorry.
Exactly. So I will make a difference because depending on how the results are, we in Indonesia, we will have Cup of Excellence winners, and those winning farmers are guaranteed to sell their coffee. For national winners that they need to accept to participate in the national winner auction. Those are kind of the semi-finalists that don't make it to the COE auction, but have the option of a second auction that we do. And those are not fully guaranteed, but also the farmer, it has the option to enter that auction or not enter that auction. So it's kind of we let the farmer make that decision in the moment. Yeah. I
see. Thank you, Erin. The next question is for either Mr. Diego or our friend from Ethiopia. This is a question from our friend in Gayo, which is in Aceh. His question is, just curious to know, do you guys know any Indonesian coffee in your country? Have you ever heard about Indonesian coffee in your country?
Yes, I have the opportunity to taste some Indonesian coffees, maybe not here in Guatemala, but during the convention of the SCA or in one of my trips to Asia, I have the opportunity to cup some of Indonesian coffees. And I think all the countries that produce coffee have very good quality coffees. A lot of people maybe ask me, do you think Guatemalan coffee is the best coffee of the world? And I say, no, all the countries that produce coffee have wonderful and excellent coffees. But going back to the question, yes, I have cupped some Indonesian coffees and Ethiopian coffees.
Thank you, Mr. Diego. Any of our friends from Ethiopia have a chance to try Indonesian coffee or ever heard about Indonesian coffee before?
Sorry?
Have any of our friends from Ethiopia ever tried or even have heard about Indonesian coffee before?
No.
Oh, Mr. Fish, you're raising your hand. Okay, so you had tried one or have heard one.
Yeah, I tried once I went for exhibition to Taiwan. There was a booth from Indonesia. I went there and I tried once a washed coffee from Indonesia. It was really very, very interesting and very clean, smooth, and delicious. I like that kind of coffee, especially, the body was like a tea-like body, green tea-like body. So I really liked it. So I had once a chance to test Indonesian coffee.
Thank you, Mr. Fish. The next question is also for you, gentlemen, from Diego or Mr. Fish or Mr. Tasaye or Mr. Elias. The question is, what is the average yield of cherry per hectare in a year? And what is the average green bean produced from a hectare in your countries? Probably Mr. Diego can answer first from Guatemala. What is the average of cherry in a hectare in a year, and also the average of green bean produced within a hectare?
Okay, give me 1 second, please.
No worries.
Here we use another measure, so let me make the conversation, please. Give me 1 second. Okay, in my case, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. No problem.
Okay. First, one question: what measure you use? You use pounds or you use kilograms?
We use kilos.
Okay. So in my case, depends first of the variety, and then always we have some things that we cannot management, like the weather conditions year by year, but I think a good production is like hold on because I have to make the conversation.
That's okay. That's okay.
Around 7,000.
So
7,000 kilos per hectare of
so
cherries.
basically, it's 7 tons per hectares.
No.
7,000.
Yes.
Yes, 7,000 kilo is 7 tons. That's a lot.
Exactly.
That's for cherry.
Yes, cherries.
Okay, so what is from cherry to green bean? How much do you lose in there for conversion? Usually it's like 1 to 5, right?
Okay. It's 1 of 5 for parchment, and then it's like 1.3 from parchment to green coffee.
Ah, okay, excellent, sir. Thank you, Diego.
You're
what
welcome.
about Ethiopia? Do you guys have different? Sorry, I have a small kitten who's trying to jump over me. What about Ethiopia? Do you have different yield or about the same with Guatemala?
Maybe Mr. Tesfaye can give you precise information on this because he owns a farm also.
No worries. Just a rough estimate. You don't have to be precise.
It's the same, similar.
Similar.
There is not that much difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I have to admit that the yield is really high compared to what we have here in Indonesia. So as far as I know, the not only the yield is really big in difference, but also the land ownership in Indonesia is also like a lot smaller compared to Guatemala or also for Ethiopia. But I'm willing to bet it's going to be an interesting result when we cup the coffee, because I know some of the farmers in Indonesia are working so hard to get the samples done. Okay, thank you, Mr. Fish. Thank you, Diego. The next question I had is from our friend in Malaysia. His question is, this COE competition in Indonesia, is it open for participants from other countries in Asia or at least ASEAN? I think it's either Erin or Mr. Andi can answer this.
I can answer this question. COE
Thank you, Erin.
is just for farmers in Indonesia. It is not for farmers outside of Indonesia.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, just want to check with Andy and with Rius. If there's any other questions that I should be asking, because that's so far that I got.
Ya, Mas Adi, belum ada lagi pertanyaan. Baru saja ada satu pertanyaan yang masuk ke ruang Zoom kita. Pertanyaan tentang seperti apa perawatan dan pemupukan yang dilakukan di negara lain. Pemupukan dan perlakuan seperti varietas kopi apa yang berbeda, yang mungkin dari pertanyaan ini harapannya adalah bisa tahu juga bagaimana akhirnya jenis-jenis perawatan tertentu bisa membuat kopi menjadi juara, mungkin ya Mas Adi. Silakan Mas Adi.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, gentlemen, there's another question. It either can go to Diego or Mr. Fish or our friend from Ethiopia. The question is, hold on, let me scroll up. Scroll up. Okay, the question is, what is the typical plant maintenance and how come suddenly I forgot the word in English? Fertilizations done in your countries. Are you using different fertilizers for different varietals, or different fertilizers for different type of soils? Answers is yours, gentlemen. So these questions can go to either Mr. Diego or Mr. Fish or Mr. Elias or our African or our Ethiopian friends.
Shall I go to Ethiopia?
Sure, sir. Let's hear it for Ethiopia.
Hello. Yeah. In our case, we don't use any fertilizer except compost. We don't use fertilizer. Just with this to answer the first question also, the production per hectare is from 6,000 to 7,000 per hectare for the red cherries in Ethiopia. In our cases.
So basically, in order to create good coffee, you don't need the chemical fertilizers or fancy fertilizers. Compost will just do, right?
Yeah, we don't use any kind of fertilizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. What about in Guatemala, Mr. Diego?
Okay. Here, in my case, we work in the traditional form. Yes, we use fertilizers. And I think the nutritional part is totally related to the quality of the coffee. Because I know the compost works very, very good, works more slowly than the fertilizers, but you have to take care about all the nutritional part to not only support the quantity of the coffee, but also the quality of the coffee.
I see.
For example, in our case, we make soil tests all the years, and we make like 2 or 3 times leaf tests just to know how is all the nutrition moving inside the tree or in the plant of the coffee. And if we have some, if something is missing, we can fix it with the fertilizations to the soil or to the leaves.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Diego. This is a general questions, but probably Erin will have the data for this. Among the many winners of COE, what process has won the most? Is it natural? Is it washed?
Yeah, the actual data point I don't have in front of me, but I would imagine based on what I've seen, it would be historically looking at 22 years, it's probably washed, but that is kind of changing. I saw that question since it was in English, and I have a graphic that I was going to share that I thought might be interesting for 2020. So, you know, although, like I said, over time, I think it has been washed due to tradition. But in 2021, for the coffees that went to the COE auctions, for the first auctions we had, these are the breakdown based on process. So you can see every country is different. A country like Ethiopia is overwhelmingly natural that goes to auction. And then you can see a country like Guatemala is mostly washed. And then when you combine everything, you can actually see the process on the right side here. This year, actually, the majority of coffees that have gone to our auction have been natural coffees. This is missing the Honduran auction, but I can say it's probably about equal right now, washed to natural. So that's for 2021. And I think, you know, just over time, it's interesting to see that maybe I think if you look at everything, it's washed, but you can start to slowly see that things are changing in the way farmers are processing coffee and what they're choosing to enter into the auctions.
I see. Thank you, Erin. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm not mistaken, just like in Brazil, you have different competition for wash and naturals, right?
So in general, our coffee competitions are just one competition for the entire country, but you're correct. In Brazil, in our history, we have done a separate competition for naturals and a separate competition for pulp naturals or honey coffees. That changed in 2019, I want to say. 2018 was the last time we did two separate competitions with them. And starting in 2019 with Brazil, it's again been one competition for all the different processes. So right now that's it's usually the normal, but we don't do any separate competitions.
I see. Thank you very much, Erin. I have a question. Actually, this is my personal question, so I'm just curious. This is a question for Joe. Joe, when you're selling this high quality, high price coffee, what do customers looking at? Are they just happy looking at the scores, or they still want to try it out and find out which one that suits them? And does #1 coffee means that it's going to be easy to sell, or probably the lower rank is going to be easier to sell?
Mas Adi, it seems like Joe is not activate the video and seems like have no activity in the speaker.
Okay, thank you, Rios. Oh, that's too bad, because I'm curious, because COE Coffee is famous for its high quality and also high price. And one thing that always amazed me is the top ranking is like always having spectacular prices. And I want to see from a buyer's point of view about why do they want to fight for this coffee and making the price so high, and how they can sell them. But that's okay. Just curious. So,
Mas Adi, we have
yes,
some questions now in the
sure.
chat. From Jasuman Silalahi, that's a lot of the cherries in a year. Can you describe how you treat your coffee tree? And so maybe we can implement in Indonesia.
Yes, that's a good question. Thank you very much, Rios. I think it come back to either Mr. Diego or our friends in Ethiopia that can answer that questions, because a little insight for you gentlemen, the productivity here in Indonesia is relatively low. Well, not relatively low, it's really low compared to the numbers that you gentlemen have mentioned, like 7 tons, 6 tons for cherries per hectare per year. So we're curious, how can you get that much cherries in a year? And probably another important question is, what is the density of trees you planted in a hectare in your countries, in average?
Okay, look, first, for maintain that amount of coffee per hectare, we have to take care about two main things. First is the nutritional part, and the other one, it's management the trees. When I say management the trees, is take about pruning system to always keep new tissue growing in the plantation. Because I don't know if you know, but the coffee just produces in new tissue. So for that, you have to be pruning all the time. Not all the time, but when the plantation need it. And the other thing that help, it's management the correct density or the distance of planting the trees. And you have to choose what is the best for each variety. But for example, we have some varieties like the caturra, that is like a mid-size variety, or we have another varieties like there are like big ones like the Java or the Borbones or the Típicas. And for that varieties, you have to have less density per hectare per area to have more space between each tree to grow the new tissue.
I see. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, okay, no, go.
No, so basically you differentiate between varieties to differentiate densities by varieties, and you also feed them different fertilizers and give them different treatment for each of these varieties. Am I correct?
No, you are correct in what part? The first part, you're correct. About the feeding or the nutritional parts, all depends the program you are using. But because at the end, it's one tree, doesn't matter the size. The root system is gonna be like maybe a bigger one variety than the other one. But in my case, we decide to use the same nutritional or feeding program for the varieties. Doesn't matter the variety.
Okay, thank you, Diego. Mr. Tetsai, could you help us again, or any of our friend from Ethiopia can help us with what you do in Ethiopia? Mr. Tetsai, sorry, I think you're still muted.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
As my brother said, the basic thing is the management of the plant. In the management of the plant, particularly the nutrition part is very decisive in productivity. In fact, when we compare with Brazil and some countries, our productivity is still low. So what we are doing is that we try to manage particularly the plant in pruning and maintaining spaces, and there are also other factors that we are using to keep the productivity. So regarding the productivity, again, we use weeds. We have weeds in the coffee farmers, so we chop that weeds and chop it down into small and disperse in the farm to we use that again as a food for the trees, and we leave the drop. Most of our coffee farms have shade trees. Some of these shade trees are very rich in nitrogen, so we leave that trees in the farm just to maintain the productivity. On the other aspects regarding the density, it depends on the topography and depends on the trees in the farm. Mostly we use from 2,500 to 3,000 per hectare. Is it clear?
It's clear. Thank you very much. So the density is actually not that big, 2,500 to 3,000 per hectares. Well, gentlemen, I actually still have a bunch of questions, but I realize that it's almost midnight for Mr. Diego and also for Erin. So I think I'm going to close the question Q&A sessions right now. My apology for wouldn't able to ask all the questions that we got. I got a. Oh, okay. There's a small discussions on the chat room that I would like to share with you guys. Joshua mentioned that from his experience, the original lot with high quality can reach a really high score, like 80, 90 or 90 above. And it will definitely come from the producers that can produce high quality lots, including terroir and coffee and carefully post-harvesting. It cannot be done only by experimental process. Thank you, Joshua, for your answers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank everyone involved in our small sessions today. I would like to thank Erin from ACE, also our gentlemen from Ethiopia, Mr. Tamiru, Mr. Fish, Mr. Elias, and also Mr. Yitzhak. And thank you so much, Mr. Diego, for sharing your experience of sending samples to COE for all these years and keep on getting good results. To Mr. Joshua, who have been sharing his point of view, not only as a judge, but also as a buyer. Mr. Yus, I'm giving back the room to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adi, Mas Adi. Terima kasih sekali untuk proses diskusi kita dari beberapa waktu, 2 jam ya. Kita sudah hampir mau 2 jam. Jadi sekali lagi, terima kasih untuk para narasumber. Thank you very much for all the source person for all the source persons who attend this event. Thank you very much. And untuk rekan-rekan yang pertanyaannya belum terjawab hari ini, jangan khawatir, selalu ikuti sosial media kami karena beberapa pertanyaan nanti akan kami rangkum dan akan kami munculkan ulang di sosial media kita ya. Jadi yang merasa bahwa wah pertanyaan saya belum dibahas nih, don't worry, nanti kita akan publish lagi informasi-informasinya. Untuk rekan-rekan yang ada di YouTube, terima kasih juga karena sudah dari awal sampai dengan sekarang mengikuti, dan nanti kami juga akan melihat respon dari teman-teman di YouTube dan juga akan kami pelajari sehingga kami juga bisa memberikan respon ulang lagi. Tentunya untuk kegiatan dari Cup of Excellence Indonesia 2021, kami masih tetap membuka kesempatan untuk rekan-rekan terlibat dan ikut serta dalam kegiatan kita ini, COE Indonesia, dan pendaftaran masih dibuka sampai dengan tanggal 24, mengirimkan sampel-sampel dari kopi-kopi terbaik Indonesia. Untuk itu, sekali lagi, kami mau mengucapkan terima kasih untuk keterlibatannya selama ini, dan terima kasih juga sekali lagi saya mau mengucapkan pada teman-teman narasumber yang sudah hadir, dan tentunya Mas Adi yang sudah menemani semua proses. Terima kasih Mas Adi, and thank you very much gentlemen, ma'am, for your time, become a source person for the event from Indonesia Cup of Excellence Indonesia 2021. That's all. Terima kasih sekali. Itu saja dari kami. Kita sudahi acara kita. Dan untuk teman-teman yang ada di ruangan ini, silakan teman-teman boleh langsung juga meninggalkan pesan teman-teman, kehadiran teman-teman di chat room atau open mic dan saling menyapa semua orang yang ada di sini. Sekali lagi, terima kasih untuk acara kita, terima kasih untuk kehadirannya. Kita berjumpa lagi dalam beberapa kegiatan sosialisasi lainnya terkait dengan Cup of Excellence Indonesia 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Josu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, Mr. Diego and also Erin. Have a great day for Mr. Fish, for Tamiru. For
thank you so much,
Adi.
All right.
And also Mr. Elias. Have a great day, guys.
Have a good day.
Mr. Diego, thank you. Mr. Tamiru, thank you very much. Erin,
thank you.
you very much.
Thank you. I just have to say, Adi, what a cute kitten. Sitting on your shoulder.
Well, this is our newest rescue cat, and
okay, we are still streaming in the YouTube, but now I think we also will close the Zoom. But before that, I would like to ask all the participants who want to say hi or introduce themselves in the chat room before they go, please do so. Please type, silakan untuk rekan-rekan petani yang mau berkenalan atau menyampaikan salam juga boleh, silakan ketikkan nama Anda dan juga tempat Anda saat ini supaya kami juga tahu bahwa Anda hadir dan terlibat dalam kegiatan juga ya, sehingga saling kenal juga dengan para petani yang lain. Sekali lagi terima kasih, silakan.